was a pun. Uh, Believe it or not, one of my favorite J-pop singers is Naomi Yusuki, and she did this nice little song called "The Eternal Blaze," and she actually says the word kimchi, which I'm thinking it's going to mean she's saying heaven and earth for that, and because the Japanese like using words that have different same word has different meanings. Like the word sensei can mean doctor, teacher, master, which came into a very interesting problem one time. I was talking to somebody and said, okay, we got two characters in the Doctor Who series. One's called the Doctor, the other's called the Master. You can't say sensei for both of them, and they said, yeah, that's true. You're right. But you can say hakasai, which also means doctor.
Right.
And you could say, for master, damio, which means lord.
Honestly, though, they would probably just use the Romanji. They would
Doctor.
Docda or Masta.
But that problem did come up because you can't call him sensei. That's not going to work for that. So they would have to give up with different names. So Hakase and Damio would probably work best because you got like a warlord, because that's what it's called. And there was one other word somebody came up with for lord, and I can't quite remember what it is right offhand. The name kind of slips the old mind once in a while with Japanese. Oh, I'm glad you got a chicken out of that.
I love Doctor Who.
Well, believe it or not, when I ended my first panel at Ichiban-Con 1, I actually ended it on a non-anime note. I used a quote from Doctor Who, and the quote was, "One day I shall come back, yes, one day. Until then, let there be no tears, no regrets, no sighs. Go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Goodbye." And then got a round of applause at Ichiban-Con 1 for just doing that little bit right there. Everybody stood up and clapped as I left the room, which I kind of felt good because I actually said that was the last thing I said to Terry Nation, who actually wrote that line in the Daleks and the beginning of the Five Doctors. So that was the last thing I did when I said to Terry Nation. And he was the creator of the Daleks and also wrote that line in the Doctor Who story. He's also the creator of Blake 7 and a lot of other series as well.
I find that a lot of anime fans crossovers with Doctor Who fans.
Well, believe it or not, on YouTube there was a person who was taking clips from Doctor Who audio and was using a person who was a Japanese animator to animate it.
Cool.
And did an excellent job. I really thought it was very well done. The way he had it synced, you had the Roger Delgado master and the Anthony Ainley master talking to one another, but it was different lines from different Doctor Who episodes because they never,
Oh, that's really cool.
I've seen that. It's really good.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it was really something else. And, they were using lines that from John Pertwee's era and also too from, a lot from John Pertwee's era for some of the stuff with the Brigadier. I actually met Nicholas Courtney. I've met a lot of Doctor Who actors in my time.
Have you met David Tennant or Matt Smith?
No. I have met, though, Patrick Troughton. I was at the last convention he was when he was alive.
No way.
I met him that Friday, got his autograph, we talked for a while. He went up to his room to get some sleep and he died in his bed of a heart attack the next day.
Oh.
And it was such a hardship. I felt so sorry for Anthony Ainley because he was a guest there at that convention and had to do those panels. And the next following day, that Saturday.
Oh my God.
It was real rough. I have met John Pertwee. Believe it or not, John Pertwee did an animated series called Super Ted. He is the Spotty Man in Super Ted. He's also known for Wars of Gummitch as well. I have met a lot of different voice actors in my time. One of them that I kind of enjoyed is Chris Sable. He is Yayami the Snake in Fruits Basket. And he's also done some work for Dragon Ball Z.
Chris Sagan, yeah.
But I like him as Yayami, the flamboyant cousin in the family, also, Yuki's, older brother. And
Wait,
he,
Yugi's older brother?
yeah,
Yugi had an older brother?
Wait, from Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
Oh,
for
from
the-
Fruit
Basket.
Basket.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yuki the mouse.
No, Yuki. I thought you said Yugi.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry, my English is a bit slurry, please forgive me.
Oh.
I played a Yame in a
Technically it's
fandom
Jeff.
on YouTube actually one
Yeah.
time.
Uh,
I totally did. I
Yeah,
played
you
a
like
Yame.
talking about the popsicle plate that, you know, there's
the
this
fruit
one
basket?
thing though,
It's
I would have
very-
loved wish he would have done, was the scene where he goes and he starts talking about how, he got these kids from not being expanded from, going into the red light district. I wish he would have gave that one,
Yeah.
that was so hilarious.
I was excited at Ichiban. We met the actor who played Brock and Kaiba and
Yes.
James, and like I walked by his table and I was like,
Stewart, wasn't he? What was his last name?
I don't even remember what his name was, but maybe. And he was selling his CDs, and I felt really bad because I just wanted to hear him do the voices. I was like, that was a huge part of my childhood. So
He is a very good musician. I mean, he was. I mean, you know, I'm not a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan myself. I've watched the show, I've seen some episodes, but when I went and looked him up to see what he had done, I'm going like, good grief, he worked with Ringo Starr, and I'm like, God,
And, like,
this guy's got a musical background, just unbelievable.
yeah, he told us. He told us the story of how he got into voice acting, and he said like he got signed with these people at this recording studio, and he went and he thought he was going to be recording music, but actually they had signed him to record voices for these animes. So
He's a very talented person. I enjoyed meeting Victoria Tyler, who was also there at Ichiban-Con. She was a lovely lady. I'm a big fan of his and her circumstances, so it was kind of nice to finally get a few minutes to talk with her. Unfortunately, when you're at a convention like Ichiban-Con, I don't usually get a chance to really talk to the actors as much as I want to, because I'm busy, because there's panels and stuff, and you don't know what comes up, and they might say, hey, Robert, need you to fill in a panel real quick, and I go like, oh, I'm very afraid of this subject, I can cover it, or I'm going to really little thing on my face. That actually did happen. Me and another friend were supposed to go in to a panel, and we're supposed to do it on K-pop. That problem is, I've only seen only a few K-pop singers, like, 4 minutes, is one that I've seen, and then there was one called Girls' Generation, and
that's G, baby.
yeah.
That's like the worst song out of all the.
Well, it's like the one that everyone knows, and
I know that
I don't know
song.
why that's the one everyone knows. All the others.
I like
But
GG.
I went in there and I'm going like, there was these bunch of people who said, well, does anybody in here know about K-pop? These bunch of teenagers go up and say, yeah, we do. So we just said, well, let them do it, because teenagers are very enthusiastic. They know what they're doing. It's like the old saying goes, there are times where you should allow these children to dance. It's an old quote from Babylon 5, with and you should allow, the kids to go up there. We just gave them a few pointers. Hey, remember, people who are coming in here don't know what K-pop is, so you may have to explain a little bit about the subject. And they did a good job, I thought, because what's really funny is to watch them, because they get so excited,
Yep.
teenagers. They really get into it. And I'm just like, I'm sitting back here and I'm going like, I wish I could have recorded this, man. This would have been great. This would have been fun, watching these teenagers go, I'm just eating it up. But they did give out some very good information. I gotta give them a thumbs up for it, for doing that K-pop panel. I ended up doing another panel just by accident for a few minutes. I did the Generation Girls panel for just a few seconds, and tell them why I liked about their performance. But they're very talented young ladies. And then one other one I sort of got I asked to help out with was the makeup panel. Here I am. I don't know nothing about makeup, but I've heard enough stories about actors who have been made up. Where, like in Doctor Who, there's a story called Power of Kroll. They had to paint these people up green. Bad problem when they got home, took a bath, the makeup too high. So they had to go and get an army base, and they had to go and get.
An
the
army
spe- Yeah, they got permission to use an army base and use the showers in that. They had to get the special type of gel to take off the paint. And I mean, because it was so bad that, looking kind of green, all the time. Now, imagine this, Bill Mumy, who plays Lanier in Babylon 5, he was complaining, at one convention that he was still feeling blue down back because, being a Minbari, got all that makeup on. So actors don't always have it so easily. The one thing nice thing about voice actors is that, they can go into a booth and they don't have to worry about putting on makeup or anything. They can, wear any type of clothes they want to and, get by with it, where you're a voice actor. But when you're an actor on stage and stuff, well, that's a different story altogether, different kettle of fish. Believe it or not, if you ever notice, in anime, when they have voice actors, they usually try to get stage actors. The reason why they got perfect control of their voice. And that's one of the reasons why, if you want to go and break into the field, you better start acting. I mean, really go into, stage acting and try to get those vocal cords to get those different pitches and stuff. One of my favorite voice actors is Wendy Lee, who is in Outlaw Star. She's done Tango Tange. She was actually in Robotech when it first came out, the Macross. And she can change her voices a little bit so that she doesn't quite sound the same. She has one nice mature voice, and then she can do a little child voice very well. So if you ever consider going into the field of acting, you better get on the stage and just prepare yourself to, get your vocal cords and all that taken care of. When I was doing Ichiban-Con, there was this gentleman who came up to me after I'd done my first panel. And he was quite concerned because they had changed voice actors in Pokemon. And they got a new set of voice actors, and he was very upset that they had done that. And he couldn't understand it, but then again I had to sit down and explain to him that voice acting is an industry. That when you are a voice actor, you have to, let's say you have a director. Well, if the director likes you, that's fine, but what happens when you don't get along with the director? Or what happens when you don't, when the director wants you to do something and you're going like, no, that's really too much. I can't really do that. So it's really a team effort when you deal with that. You also can have the possibility that, people in the higher up decide, well, we want to cut our budget, get rid of all the old crew, they're costing too much money, put in a brand new crew. That's actually happened in Doctor Who at one time. I heard John Perky was willing to do another season, and he said, all you gotta do is up my first, and they said, well, it's nice knowing you, John. They got Tom Baker. And that's what John said at a convention. I remember it very well. Colin Baker, during his reign of Doctor Who, had a problem with Michael Gray, and those two just didn't get along as well, and Michael just said he had to go.
Who was Michael? Wait, was he the director? Or
No, he was the head of BBC Controller.
Oh.
And him and Colin had different viewpoints, and Colin, I heard Michael mad at a party or something. Michael said, this actor, out. And so they didn't renew his contract for another season of Doctor Who. They just were going to offer him 4 episodes, and he turned it down. Smart move, considering that when you're an actor, voice actor or whatever, you've got to have an income. Let's say somebody offers you a contract. Okay, which one makes sense? Are you going to take a 3-month contract, or are you going to take a year? Now, if you take a year contract, that means money in your pocket for the entire year. So you've got to be a bit of a business person when you're an actor. Because once that job's done, you got to have a job being to pick up that paycheck. And that's why you see voice actors